The Turpin House of Horrors. They looked like a normal family from the outside, but inside, 13 children were living a nightmare no one could imagine. In the quiet city of Paris, California, nestled within a suburban neighborhood of modest homes and trimmed lawns, the Turpin family blended in, or so it seemed. David and Louise Turpin lived there with their 13 children, who were rarely seen and almost never heard. Neighbors barely noticed them. The kids never came out to play. The curtains were always drawn. There were no school buses picking them up, no visitors, no signs of birthdays, holidays, or joy. Just silence. But on the early morning of January 14th, 2018, that silence was shattered. A 17-year-old girl slipped out through a window with a deactivated cell phone she had managed to charge in secret. She had planned her escape for 2 years. Nervously dialing 911, she told the dispatcher something they couldn't believe: that she and her 12 siblings were being held captive by their own parents, starved, beaten, and chained to furniture. When deputies arrived, what they found inside the house was beyond comprehension. The home reeked of urine and decay. Trash was piled high. The children, ranging in age from 2 to 29, were severely malnourished, some of them so frail they could barely speak. They wore soiled clothes and had bruises on their wrists from being shackled to beds. The eldest daughter, 29, weighed just 82 pounds. Several siblings were found chained up. One had been bound for weeks as punishment for trying to wash her hands above the wrist, a rule they were beaten for breaking. The Turpin parents had kept their children isolated from the world for nearly their entire lives. They were homeschooled, but most of them didn't even know what a police officer was. They were denied basic hygiene, proper food, education, and even sunlight. The family would buy lavish meals for themselves, but let the children watch, starving as they weren't allowed to eat it. David and Louise presented themselves on social media as a devout, loving family. Vacation photos at Disneyland, matching outfits, happy smiles. But it was a carefully curated illusion, designed to hide unimaginable abuse. In court, the Turpin children gave heartbreaking testimony. They spoke of the courage it took to finally escape, how they supported each other in secret, whispering dreams of freedom. The 911 call by the 17-year-old daughter was played in court, her voice trembling, polite, terrified, but determined. Both parents pleaded guilty to multiple felony counts, including torture, false imprisonment, and child cruelty. In 2019, they were each sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. A light sentence, many argued, considering the lifelong trauma inflicted. The aftermath was equally controversial. Though the children were rescued, several reports later revealed that some were placed in foster homes where abuse continued, highlighting systemic failures in child protective services. Despite everything, many of the Turpin children are now pursuing education, speaking publicly, and building lives they were once denied. One of them said, "We have a second chance. That's what we've been given." This case is a haunting reminder. Behind closed doors, even in the quietest neighborhoods, darkness can thrive unnoticed. And sometimes the most heroic act is simply speaking out.